Okay, good morning. Morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. Another lovely day here in Essex today. Um, okay, a couple of things that I have, a couple of newspaper articles that I've come across this morning, which caught my eye. And they are yet another demonstration of simply, to put it simply, how badly this country is being run. I'll obviously post the articles below, but let me go through the first one. And it's from the BBC this morning about immigration targets. And let me read it out. Immigration teams were set Home Office targets for voluntary, there's your first problem, voluntary departures of people regarded as having no right to stay in the UK. On Wednesday, Home Secretary Amber Rudd denied that targets were used as she faced MPs investigating the problems faced by the Windrush generation. Now, apparently, the Home Office had set targets for people to be removed from the country, to meet the net migration target of 100,000 a year. Now, meanwhile, and this is the second article, you have a figure of 27,000 illegal immigrants have been arrested over the last 4 years by the police. Okay, so just to strip this down a little bit, the first problem you've got is the target. Now, what happens when enforcement officers, whether it be immigration officers or whether it be the police, when they have targets set, it is an invitation to present a facade to the public, a front, to offer up what are essentially bogus statistics so that the government can look like it's doing something and look like it's getting tough. What it means in practice, though, is that the enforcement officers, whether it be police or immigration, will choose easier targets to focus on in order to meet whatever statistics the government wants to promote to the public. And this is why you end up with things like the Windrush scandal, where innocent people were targeted, innocent people had their lives destroyed, and legal migrants were deported from the country. People who'd been here for decades and caused no trouble were deported from the country, because this is who you pick on when you have to make up numbers. You pick on the easier targets. And this happened, as I say, with the police as well. I remember speaking to a policewoman about this some years ago, and I asked her why it was that the police seemed more focused on Twitter than they were on the gang rape of underage girls. And she told me that it was an evidence issue, that when it's so-called hate speech online, then the evidence is sitting there online for them to prosecute. They don't need to actually do a great deal of work. Now, I don't buy this, of course, at all. Because if police walk into a room where an drunk underage girl is surrounded by a group of Asians, I reckon there's some evidence in there that a jury might just buy. And if you combine that with medical evidence, you have a case. So the evidence thing is a brush off as well. But the point is that they will inevitably lean on easy targets and avoid the more difficult issues. And we're seeing this with immigration as well. Now, one of the people on the second article, the one about 27,000 been arrested by police. And here's another point. If 27,000 were arrested, how many do you think there are? Do we think that they're getting most of these people? Not a fraction is my guess. And what are the police doing with their sparse resources, having to deal with this many illegal immigration cases either? They shouldn't be able to get past the border in the first place for the police to have to deal with them. And here is our problem. We have a porous border. And there's little point in setting meaningless targets for immigration officials to pick on innocent people while the border remains open and thousands upon thousands of people are able to gain illegal access to the country. This is a complete, it's an absolute mess. There's no order here. There's no order here. And it doesn't help either when people like Boris Johnson start telling people that we need an amnesty for illegal migrants. It's an invitation to the world to come to Britain. But here's what we need to do. If we had any sense, if we had any real interest in bringing stability and order to the migration problems this country faces, the resources problems that migration problem is bringing, a few easy, back to basics, common sense things are what we need to do. And the first one is to freeze migration. This doesn't mean freeze travel, it means freeze migration into this country. People who want to come and live here, we need to freeze it so that we can gain some stability and some control and know what we have to do to learn about how many illegal immigrants are in this country, how they're getting here, and how to remove them and start removing them. We also need to invest fully in police, in military, and in the UK border force. You cannot expect an overstretched enforcement officers across the board to deal with these massive problems created by politicians like Boris Johnson inviting the world to come here. We need a fully numbered, fully manned police force and UK border force, and yes, military. All are being decimated, leaving us essentially helpless to this mass invasion of people who have no right to be here. We are helpless. We have got resources in this country. There is money in this country. It just needs to be used properly. It needs to be, our spending needs to prioritize defense of the country and defense of its people. We need to be patrolling the seas surrounding this country. We need to be putting all vast resources, whatever we can, certainly more than we are, into rooting out illegal entry points into the UK, to finding them, finding people coming in and returning them to wherever they came from. We need to send a strong signal to the world that we are getting a grip on this, that we will not have this, and that if you intend to come to the UK illegally, that you will not then be granted right to remain and to build a life for yourself here when your first contribution to the country has been to break its laws. We will not have it, and we need to tell the world that we will not have it. We need to send a message to the world that this soft touch Britain is over. We are not going to be made fools of, and we are not going to allow our own people to be pushed to the back of the queue so that strangers from the other side of the world can be prioritized. This is clear. We must prioritize, we must put our resources into defense of the realm and defense of the people who live in it, its citizens. This is common sense, this is pro-Britain, and until we get a grip, until we stop the porous border, then all these targets which end up picking on innocent people, well, it's all meaningless. It all means nothing. It all means nothing until the borders are secure, until we are patrolling the coast of this country and removing people who have no right to be here. Then any targets, any government immigration targets for a year are all completely meaningless. It's all a facade. It's all just for public consumption by a government and a public sector which is not doing what it's supposed to do and is not living up to its obligations to the people of this country. Okay, as I say, I'll post those articles. It's really quite enraging to watch how badly the country is being run on these profoundly important matters. Okay, I think that's it for me today. Don't forget to, we've got a big weekend coming up. We've got campaigning on Saturday in 2 different parts of the country, on Sunday and again on Monday in Hartlepool. I've sent out an email yesterday to supporters. If you can help out, please do. We're getting incredible support on the doorstep. We're getting a really positive response, and I'm quite excited about this. We're really getting out there. Loads of volunteers, really passionate, really committed. So if you can, please do take part this weekend and help us out. Okay, busy days for the next few days, but I'll be back on Monday. I'm sure I'm here on Monday. Yes, I'm here on Monday. Okay, have a good weekend, and I shall see you back here at 11 on Monday. Take care.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.